I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we're going to be talking to my Pisces. My Pisces. The way this is going to be working is I'm going to be talking about part of the video about you and your personal energies, and then the other part of the video, I'm going to be talking about your connection with somebody else and the energies going on there, and see the underlying stories of both. This is for sun signs, but moon and rising are more than welcome. This is all about messages that resonate with you. So let's get started. I already shuffled the cards because I take a super long time to shuffle. Oh, we already got a confirmation for Pisces. Hello. Thank you, Spirit Guides. I'm glad you're here and present. Okay, so interesting. All right, so the first thing I'm seeing popping up is talking. This is, for a lot of you, this is going to be your straight up magical side. If I'm speaking to any witches or people that believe in spirituality to the point that it is magical and we can get into, like, you know, bending stuff with our minds, and I'm being a little bit facetious, but you see what I'm saying. Anyways, so this is talking about that unnameable, kind of can't put your finger on it, intuition part of yourself. It's just the part that connects you to the flow of the universe and helps you feel like the best version of yourself the more you feel like you're in the right place at the right time. And something's like kicking off. Spirit's showing me almost like there's a cork in the top of your head that got released. And so you're successfully tuning into it, but it's an overwhelming feeling because now that this cork has been removed, it's kind of flooding in too hard and fast. It almost makes you feel like you want to push it away, or you're not quite sure how to process it. It's really interesting too, because it seems like you're relying, in the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, that can mean a couple things. It's like too much codependency on other people. Maybe you're looking for success by mirroring other people's, what other people have done. It's this feeling of looking to others because you feel like you're not successful within yourself. And you seem so focused on that, you're almost pushing away or trying to not acknowledge what's going on here. And I do want to acknowledge that Spirit's desperately trying to get you to turn around, because this is where all the sense of the universe and the success is really going to come from, even if it seems scary now at first. But they're acknowledging that it's there, it's coming in hot and fast, and that you seem to be turning away from it by being too caught up in kind of the, I'm just going to call it the material world, but I want to always put it out there that wanting money and things like that is not inherently, a negative thing at all. So let's see if we can get a story more on this. Oh, weird. You're not weird. I gotta be careful about my choice of words. The only reason why I use that, say that it's weird, oh my goodness, stop bumping the table with your knee, is because, okay, so this is the first thing that catches my eye in the Five of Swords. This is kind of like this part of yourself that you just can't seem to let go, but it's like a very uncomfortable, how do I put this? I'm going to just say like the nasty side of you, but I use that term with a grain of salt. It's something you can't let go that maybe isn't the best trait about you. Sometimes it's funny, we can all deny this, but there are little tiny parts in all of us that we can't seem to let go that is our comfort zone. The Five of Swords is sometimes when we fight with other people, but in this case, Spirit's showing me this can be much more abstract. It's like a general prickly feeling that you get with yourself or your view of the world or with other people. I'm not getting specifics, but they're just telling me it's not explicitly with fighting with people. In fact, I'm being told right now it has nothing to do with fighting with other people. It's just this version of yourself that you kind of can't seem to make amends with. And you should be facing with it, you should be forgiving it, but I'm seeing with the other cards, you just can't seem to let it go. But the thing that's so interesting, the reason why I said it was weird, is because we've got the Queen of Mugs and the Death card popping up. Both of these are really positive signs that you could, if you wanted to. We can see that you're emotionally balanced, you'd be able to handle the idea of the loss. The Death card's popping up. This is like your whether you like it or not, you're in the next stage of a rebirth. We talked about that with your kind of magical intuition side really kicking off like nobody's business with the whole cork analogy we talked about. So you're accepting it with it being upright. You're accepting it, you're welcoming it, and you've got all this good stuff coming on, but it feels like it's still weirdly being used to grow and move forward, but yet protect and cushion this version of yourself, which I think is so interesting. That protection kind of continues, or not kind of, gets double confirmed and continued over here with the Three of Wands and the Nine of Wands. See, over here, you can see that people are starting to pick up on all your growth. They're even picking up on the subconscious part of your growth that you haven't quite gotten a quite handle on. The whole, often when we're more connected to the universe, there's actually a whole terminology behind it called the vortex. The more you're in the vortex, you're in the flow of the universe, feeling like the best version of yourself, growing in every which way, more able to just kind of like, for whatever reason, just somehow have a deep sense of knowing, the more people want to be around that. They too want to have that connection to the universe. It's inexplainably magnetic, I find, from both personal experience and when I've seen it in others. So other people are seeing what you're doing. They're interested. They want to be a part of it. They like what you're putting out there. But there's this sense of like fear, like you're aware that you can't stop it, and you kind of like the idea of these other people coming into your life, but you're still on a very deep subconscious level trying to make sure nobody knows about this, but you aren't quite letting it go. Same thing over here with the Nine of Wands. This shows us that you worked really hard for this growth, and you're even almost there. We have that confirmation that like the big key parts that most people struggle, sometimes a very big lifetime with, you've already mastered or in the process of comfortably accepting what is a difficult process for a lot of people, and you're making it happen. But again, it still feels like you're both simultaneously, acknowledging it and proud of yourself, but keeping people out so they can't mess with this process. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a normal thing for most people to want to push everybody else out in order to, keep this spiritual growth going. But again, it just feels like sandwiched in between, we've got this Five of Swords. I have a feeling the Five of Swords is what we talked about over here with the Nine of Pentacles, and this is just something to consider with why you have to ask yourself, what is it that I can't seem to give up? Maybe it's getting the last word. Why do I feel like I always need to turn to other people and I can't just trust that what I have to offer is enough? This is just some things to consider. Now, I do want to clarify before I move on to the energies of other people. This is not something to harp on. This isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. There's a lot of great stuff coming your way. Other people are going to be coming into your life because they're, picking up on all this positive energy you got going down. You've really come so far emotionally, and you're going through this huge positive change, and you're more spiritual and magical than ever, and you've worked so hard for it. So I don't want it to make it sound like this is the worst thing in the world. It's just something to consider if you feel like Spirit keeps showing me that something's like a little off, and if you would like to fix that, here's some clues to that being the case, that you're subconsciously preventing it from being fixed, even though you could easily do it. So you can just ask yourself those shadow self questions and work through it. Not a big deal. I'm very proud of you though. Actually, I'll just keep this here. Okay, so now, next one. This is for somebody else. Ooh, okay, so let's start off with what I'm seeing with this other person. So the Emperor could represent anything from an older male in your life to maybe this is like a father figure, because remember, we're talking about a general connection with someone else, so this could be anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. However, if it is romantic, I want to talk about how this would represent somebody who is definitely dependable, and there's a certain sense of like trust and comfort you have with them, but they're just not great at expressing their emotions. They are not somebody who, their love language is definitely not a verbal, consistent, comforting sort of notion in any, whatever the word is, in any sense of the word. That's the phrase. Whenever I do these, I forget the metaphor, just common metaphors. Now, it looks like you're kind of done with them, which is really interesting. You're kind of done. Now, we can view this as like maybe you're done judging yourself with you're saying, you know what, I'm done pushing them away. I'm going to be down with whatever they have to offer. But Spirit's telling me you're really done with that sort of interaction with them. And this is important. The Ten of Swords in reverse is so key and vital to your future connections with other people in a good way, because this implies you're done with it. You're gone. It's as aggressive as it looks. It's not going to, you've realized that when you come across this sort of mindset in other people, it doesn't work for you. And because you've now learned that about yourself clearly and you're setting that boundary, and this person kind of came in your life to give you that last final lesson, so to speak, in this, you're then welcoming up to the universe and telling the universe, hey, I'd like people that are more vocal about what they have to offer. And they do want to give me more of that comfort and reassurance more often. And I'm more of a verbal person. They're going to let me know, and they're going to be more affectionate in that kind of way. This is something, just like some food for thought. Sometimes the universe throws us things as a form of a kind of almost a temptation in order to have us reevaluate, is it truly what we wanted? So don't be surprised if anybody like this pops up in your life again. This isn't a bad sign. You don't have to go through the motions and learn this lesson again. This is just saying, the universe saying, you're really positive, you made up your mind, you don't want anyone like this. And of course your decision is, no, I don't. And so they'll disappear real fast, and the universe will be like, okay, you are so solid about your decision, I'll only send you people that are more, the vibe that you're looking for. It's going to be easier to talk to them, and so on and so forth. So let's get a bit of a story here with this specific person, though. Spirit's telling me only 4 cards for this one. Oh, okay. All right. I can see why this is going to be over. Now I have an interestingly different viewpoint of the Emperor. See, this is how tarot works. It can be quite different depending on what you're looking at, because the Three of Swords can talk about betrayal, and it can specifically speak about cheating. So if this message resonates with you specifically in that regard, it's regarding that. But it's talking about, sometimes betrayal shows up in a different way. Maybe they made a promise that they were going to be different, and then they weren't, and then you saw them freely talking and connecting with someone else, and you're like, wait, what? I thought you were just naturally a quiet person. What the heck? I feel like you're not telling me things. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be just period cheater status. But with the Emperor, this takes on a different flavor, if you will. He ends up becoming somebody he's not in reverse, so we know that he's not ill intent. He's not trying to hurt you on purpose. He doesn't have some big sinister plans, but he's more contemplative. He'll come across as like he doesn't have a lot on his mind, and maybe he doesn't have a lot to say, maybe he's even a little boring, but this is someone who knows when to speak and play the right moves. So he's aware of what he's doing more than he's letting on. And when we get a Three of Swords situation, that's somebody who's a tactile mind. So it kind of is an extra blow to the whole them not being as, emotionally available as you'd like them to be. I'm just putting that out there. But this is kind of interesting because I would not expect the Queen of Swords to pop up here in reverse with the Emperor, but let's go with it. So over here, this is them and this is you. And I'm very happy to say that this is you over on this side. The Queen of Swords is somebody who gets very verbally personal, and they are, just don't be surprised if there's any sort of verbal slinging back and forth, that you just want to do the best you can to ignore them and not feel the need to stand up for yourself, or because in this case you wouldn't be standing up for yourself, you would be taking the bait and responding back to them, and it would be a losing game. This person is incredibly intelligent, so they know the right buttons to push and the right hurtful words to say to you, and the more you give them apathy and nothing back, the more that's just gonna hurt them. But it's not about hurting them, it's just that they're going to eventually stop because they're going to realize they're not going to get anything from you. And it's the best possible response you could look for, because if you think you have any great comeback, or no, get out of there. It's just going to deeply hurt your feelings on a personal level and might confuse you and make you think, oh wait, maybe there is more there. Like sometimes people weirdly want to go back to the people that hurt them. So don't let your mindset, you've made it. You don't want to be around this type of person. This is just kind of, consider this the universe giving you a nice little sugar coating to why you should continue not to be around this person, because they're that not good. You know what I mean? But then over here, I can see that you're making a decision. You're like, nope, it's that confirmation of like, nope, I made my decision. I could be with you. I could not be with you. I don't want to be with you. And then we have the Chariot, which is great. So it does show with the Chariot, which is a positive sign of like victory. You're doing well at the end of all of this. It does confirm that there will be some sort of argument going on. But the thing is, you're not gonna, Spirit's telling me you're going to be forced in a position to interact with them for like a hot second. So you will probably have to respond like once or twice, but don't go further than that, because it's kind of a verbal trap, if you will. And you have to, in the moment, if you're somewhere with them, respond back and be like, I gotta go, or no, I don't want to talk about this, just for a second. But after that, nothing. Don't give them anything. And then theoretically you've won. You're out of this situation. Yeah, that's so weird. I'm getting... Because like the last thing I was just going to say is, I'm saying it's weird because over here, Spirit's showing someone that doesn't seem like they're necessarily capable of it. Like you wouldn't anticipate them to be this way. And then over here we have the argument going down, getting pretty nasty and personal. And they're just kind of responding because they have their tails between their legs, because you've caught them in some form of betrayal, something that's really hurt you, and help you made up your mind that you're done with this person and you're done with this type of interaction with a person. You don't want this anymore. This is not the easy flowing relationship you were hoping for. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to come out on top, and you're also going to be able to move forward in future relationships, knowing exactly what you want and being able to tell the universe that, and the universe will then be able to send you those type of people your way. So pretty darn cool. Don't fall for it. Don't talk back to them. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!